Hi there, this is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're starting inside the kitchen. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making smoked chicken wings 3 different ways in my Masterbuilt 40-inch charcoal smoker. So we're going to get a little start in here, and I'm just going to show you how I prep these. First of all, you could buy them frozen and pre-cut and prepped, or you can buy them fresh in the package at your in your meat department. And today I bought fresh ones, and then I cut them up. Pretty simple procedure. I actually just used my kitchen shears, which I really like doing for things like small boned items. But you can also use just about any regular knife. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this taken care of. So you don't have to use gloves, but I always do. And the reason I do is just for convenience. You can, wash your hands and not worry anything about it. But today I'll be using these gloves here, and these ones are a little bit larger, so they go on a lot nicer. So easy to get on and off. But that's just for cleanliness and cross-contamination and stuff. And when dealing with chicken, cross-contamination is a really big issue. So today I brought another camera with me, and so we'll be doing some B-roll, so that way we can get a little bit closer shot to what we're going to do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of go from one side to the other, and I'm going to work on what I have here. So what we have in this bowl is we have some Spice Hunter mild zip mix, and it's a combination of spicy items, and it's not very spicy, but just to give you an idea of what's in here, there's onion, paprika, chili pepper, cumin, garlic, jalapeno pepper, coriander, red pepper, or oregano, and lemon dill. So the one thing that I really feel is missing is the thyme. So I went ahead and put some thyme leaves in there, and if you have crushed thyme, that's probably even better. I didn't crush it today, but I could easily put it in the mortar and pestle and do so. And then for the heat, we're just adding some cayenne pepper, and that'll turn out great. So we're just going to mix that all up. And I'm going to tell you right now, so the easiest way to do this is just to use some Ziploc bags when you're going to throw it in the refrigerator. And you can just put them in the Ziploc bags, and this can be a little expensive, but it's so convenient. And like if you use a sous vide a lot like I do, Ziploc bags are something that I just keep a bunch around all the time. So this is brand name. I like to put the brand name in the sous vide, but for everything else, including this, normally I would just use a generic. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load some chicken wings up in here. And I'm going to put just a little under a third of what's in here. I'm not trying to make a bunch of the spicy hot ones, just a little bit. And then I'm going to sprinkle this in. So let's see if we can get a better shot over here. So you can see that it's just all kind of laying in there. So what we want to do is we want to seal the bag with a little air in it. And by doing that, that'll give us plenty of ability to move this around. And we want to really massage it in because the spices came out in a pretty good clump. And we will do this a few different times. But for now, we'll go ahead and either set it to the side in a cool spot or directly into our refrigerator. So I'm just gonna take this bag and I'm just gonna go ahead and set it off to the side here. So we're done with that, and we're done with these. So I'll go ahead and remove those. One less thing to spill on the floor. And this can go in the sink. And so then the next one is, this is oyster sauce. So this just kind of has like a Thai Asian flair, And this is super simple. So we're just talking about some oyster sauce and some garlic. And you can up it as much as you want. Either mince your own garlic fresh or buy a container of minced garlic. Today I just bought this because I didn't want to go to the extra prep work. But normally if I had some garlic laying around in my produce thing, like for instance, I have an onion. So if I make something that I want to use an onion in, it's there. So we put in a little bit here, and let's go ahead and get a closer look there. So we've got about 1.5 tablespoons of garlic and about 4 tablespoons of the oyster sauce, and we're going to mix that in. After we toss that in the bag, if we need a little bit more oyster sauce, we'll go ahead and add it. We probably won't add much more garlic. So I just want to, it smells really good. It has almost a beefy smell to it, the oyster sauce, and then the garlic is just a perfect complement for it. And this is a brand name, but I have used a lot of different ones, and usually I just buy what's ever affordable that I know that I'll use. So we're going to grab a bag. I'm trying to be careful with what I touch with my hands because of the chicken. So I don't want to run it all over things like I'm avoiding camera or anything like that. So then we're going to throw just a little less than half of what's in here in there. And let's go one more and call it good. So there we go. We got that bag loaded up. And so then we'll go ahead and open that a little bit and stick the bowl in here a little bit. I know I should have done it the other way around, but I didn't. I'm going to make an effort to get all of that garlic out because, like I said, I can always add more of the sauce. All right, so there's the bowl and into the sink. So same thing, going to leave a little bit of air in there. You can see that. And then we'll just roll it. We don't want to smash it around or anything. We want to take the chance of breaking the bag, and nothing with sharp edges around. But you can see how well that distributed. And gosh, get up there, and so you can kind of get an idea. It's a nice amount there. I'm going to add just a little more oyster sauce, but I mean we're right there on the edge. It could be just fine. So there we go. So yeah, the color comes out a little bit darker. I'll show you there on that camera. And as I start using the second camera, I'll get a little bit more into lighting and whatnot. But for right now, we're just kind of throwing it up and getting this 2 angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this on the counter to rest. When we're done shooting this scene, I'll throw them all in the refrigerator for an hour. So we can put these to the side. We don't need those anymore. So now this is going to be our teriyaki base. And you know, whatever you want to do. Buy teriyaki sauce if you want to buy it. That's up to you. But what I like to do is I like to start with some pineapple. And if I'm doing a big batch, I'll just buy a can of crushed pineapple. If I'm doing a small batch, I will buy chunk pineapple and I will crush it myself. And then by doing that, I will have the other half canned to eat for dessert or something. It goes excellent in a yellow cake. So what I have here is just half a can of crushed pineapple, and I'll show you the can so you can get some kind of idea what we're talking about. This is the can, and I'll go ahead and set this down here for you to see. And then what we're going to do is just a little bit of rice vinegar Just put a little bit of that rice vinegar in there, about a tablespoon. And then onion powder. Gonna spread that in there. And that was just about a teaspoon for this small of a batch. And then the most important thing that I'll tell you is that what we want to do is, I'm going to put this back over here so that way you can see it on the other camera, is that reduced sodium soy sauce. You can always add salt to anything that you do or use or whatever, but don't buy butter with salt in it. Don't buy the regular sodium soy sauce. Just, you can add salt if you want to add salt, but you can never take it out. So we're going to put in a good portion here. We're looking for about 3 or 4 tablespoons, closer to 4. Okay, and then we're going to come back here and we're going to take the rest of this liquid and get it in there, most of that can. So you can look at the picture here. It smells really good, and just because I don't want to take any chances that I didn't get it right, clean spoon. A little bit more of a stir here, and then just, yeah, that's perfect. That's what I'm going for. If I was going to make any changes to it, I might add a little bit of sweetener somehow, like a light corn syrup or something like that. But that's it. So now, let's grab another bag. And the larger portion of the chicken wings is going in this bag, which will be for the teriyaki. And if you want to, you could just buy a bottle of pineapple juice, and you don't have to use pineapple at all, but I like the chunks of pineapple in there. As it's cooking, it'll get stuck on the side and caramelize a little bit, so it'll be a nice little addition to the food. So let's see if we can do this over here. So I'm going to take this, throw this in the sink, and then I'm going to take this, put it inside the bag, and just like that. Perfect. Make sure we get all that pineapple in there. So there you go. Just like that. That's simple. Okay, so now we have that in there. This one's going to require the least amount of work, and the reason is because you can see how much sauce is in there and stuff. Now, a lot of times with chicken, you could always brine it, which would mean that you would add a little bit of salt and let it sit for a while. But it will kind of shrivel a little bit, and that's not what we're going for. We are going for a marinade process to last for about an hour, and then we'll get them in the smoker. So I'll see you in a second. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start on our loading our wings. So the current temperature of the smoker is 263, and it's going along really good. After I prepped the wings into the bag, I threw them in a used grocery bag so that way we could get them all going there. And you can see they had more than an hour to sit in the fridge and rest, which is exactly what I was going for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to load the spicy ones on the very bottom. And the reason I'm going to do that is because my wife doesn't like spicy food. So if you've watched my channel for a while, you find that there's 2 themes here. First of all, you got to make sure the wife gets something she likes to eat, and second of all, everything has to have paprika on it. So that, I don't know. That's just me. Whatever. So I'm going to take and I'm going to pull this middle tray out, and then I'll throw one of these grill mats on there. I'm going to move over here a little bit so that way we can get, I'm going to check and make sure that we're in the camera. Oh yeah, we are. So I'm just going to go ahead and spread these out a little bit. I'm going to try to keep them from touching if I can, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it if they do. This is actually perfect because I'm going to get most of them across the back here. And then if I run out of space, I'll be able to throw a couple more. I'm just going to go just like that. And then we'll slide the tray in just a little bit. And then, because it is up to temperature at 260, we're going to go ahead and push it in like that. And then I'll go ahead and pull out the next tray. Got a neat little trick for the leftover sauce for you here. So let's set this aside for right now. We're going to do this one next, and this is the garlic oyster sauce. I want to give it one more little mix here because I want to make sure I get the full effect of all the sauce. And then we will load this to the back, and if any of this drips, it'll drip down on the other chicken wings there, the spicy ones. It looks like it's going to be just a little past them. And this grill mat was just a little larger than the other one. This is actually a full-size uncut one. And you can cut those grill mats to fit whatever smoker you're going to be using. So I usually just cut them into two different sizes. And the one is for the large, for the regular smokers, and the other is for the Big Chief. I do have a couple of them cut in half. Now, this is the teriyaki mix, and you can see that there's a lot of liquid in there. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of that liquid. But let's not just throw it away, right? I mean, we can't eat it because it's contaminated, right? But what we can do is we can pour it in a little cup. And let me... So what I did was I took a piece of heavy-duty aluminum foil and folded it in half. And then I wrapped it around the bottom of a water drinking cup. And so you saw the picture there, and you can see it here. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some of the teriyaki liquid straight in here. You don't want to go too much more than half full. It'll just become a hassle to deal with later. And see, we went above half, and then a little bit of it's leaking. So that didn't help us much. So I'm going to set this down on the ground, and some of it will leak off while we're doing the rest of the stuff. All right, I'll set it over here. And then when we're done, it'll be done leaking, and then I'll show you what we'll do with it. All right, so then we're just going to go ahead and load the rest of these teriyaki wings in here. There's some chunks of pineapple, and if they stick to the wings, that's exactly what I'm going for. But if they don't, I probably won't be loading them into the smoker. And if I grab a wing that doesn't have enough sauce on it, I'm just going to put it back in the bag and pull it out last. And what will happen is, as I get to the bottom of the bag, I'll be able to mix it around a little bit more. Let's see. I'll just take the bag and I'll just mix these last ones back in there again. And if any got missed, then it'll get covered. So that's a lot of pineapple chunks in there. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could harvest it and cook it, but I'm not going to. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the teriyaki wings towards the front just a little bit, so that way we got some clear separation here. And it's not necessary, it's just that way we can have it separated up. And there is going to be a few chunks of pineapple in there, which is all good. We'll get a little bit of smoked pineapple. We're not like trying to serve it. Okay, so then that's it there. So now we're going to come back here to our teriyaki juice. And the container stopped leaking. But like I said, it was just over the edge there. I should have folded it a little bit better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just toss it up here in the top corner. So we don't want it all the way in the corner in case it leaks a little bit more, but we also don't want it directly over the food. So now we'll go ahead and close that. All right, now we're running again. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this glove, because this glove is gross. This one's not perfect either, but it's good enough to move on. So we let out a lot of our temperature. But the thing is going to fire right back up. So I'm going to zoom down in here and get you a little shot of the temperature. Now for cooking the wings, we need to be at least 275. And I think the way that I loaded this, we should be able to get that temperature. So I'm going to go up to 295 and just leave it like that. Now you can see it flashing. That flashing means that I set it to that, and now it's gonna kick the fan up and it's just gonna keep running right up there. So let's give it a second here and we'll watch the temperature, and then we'll go ahead and pause the video. When you leave the doors open that long, it really affects how the charcoal burns and everything. So normally what I've been doing is I've been loading everything onto a cookie sheet and then just sliding it in. That way I don't have to leave the door open for 5 minutes or whatever it was. It has gone up 1 degree, so we've started to turn back up again. So now we're at 150. We were just at 148. And that means that it's going to go ahead and climb again. It was, you know, at full operating temperature. So it'll get back up there. It's just going to take it a couple of minutes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pause the video, and I will check on it in about 30 minutes, but it should take about an hour and a half to cook at this temperature. So at the 290, and it's getting all that wonderful charcoal flavor, so they should turn out great. In an hour, we're gonna flip them. So I'll see you then. All right, so we are going right along and we are really close to being done here. So let's go ahead and open it up. I did bump up the temperature a little bit because I wanted it to get a little bit crispy, and it was looking good. And look at that smoke coming out. Most of that smoke is from the juice dripping down into the water pan. And if you want less smoke, feel free to take and add a little liquid to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll these over. When there's a nice little bit of a char on there. And like I said, some of these are definitely done. And as much as I wanted to get this pineapple to cook just right, it's this one's okay, but the rest of it's kind of overcooked. It's good, but I think that for me, I'm not a big fan of the pineapple soy sauce by itself without the meat. So I think the meat really is where it's at there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and push that back in, and then we're going to grab this piece right off the front here. This one right here is done. Oh, before I do that, I want to take a look at something else here. So I want to look at the juice that we saved there. That's the teriyaki juice. It's still just a little thin, but the nice thing is I can tell it's plenty hot enough to be safe. So if we want to use it, we're more than welcome. We can definitely use that, and it will be safe to put on our food. So because like I said, I'm sure that some of these are done, I'm going to go ahead and try this one right here. And let's get in there so that way you can see that really good. It's kind of hard because this one doesn't have, it's under cover, so there's no good light there. So I'll go ahead and just hold that by the corner and oh yeah, that's really good. The skin is perfect. It's has a little bit of that barbecue kind of chew to it. But it's not rubbery. And we can taste the teriyaki without anything being overbearing. A little bit of pineapple flavor to it, a little bit of the soy sauce flavor. It could be just a touch sweeter, but I personally like it like this, and it's going to go really good with some hot sauce. So I'm going to let it cook for a few more minutes and maybe make a side or something in the house. And then I'll come back out here with a cookie sheet and we'll pull it off. I'll see you in a minute. All right, so I promised that I was going to get done before it got dark on the next video. And look, it's not dark yet. Well, let's be honest. I got an extra 15 minutes from the time I shot the last video from now. So I bet you in 15 minutes it would be dark, or it would have been dark now. So, hey, you know, what can I say? I'm slow. So first thing I want to point out is that I put my cookie sheet up here on the top so that way, or sheet pan, so it can warm up just a little bit. That's a nice thing. If you leave it hanging over, then it will heat up right up here, and then you don't have to play with it or anything. And you can basically just put your food on it and it'll be nice and warm. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that open, and I'm just going to hold this here, hold this by the corner so I don't burn my hands, and then I'm just going to pull that just a little bit, see if we can get this to slide without, well, the grill mat is sticking just a little bit. So see if we can get it to come loose, and if we can't, then we'll just pick them off. That might work. There we go. All right, so now that we've done that, now we're gonna separate them out a little bit so we can get the teriyaki ones in the front. And the burned pineapple, we'll just throw that over there. I'm sure something will come along in the middle of the night and eat it. And then we'll push that back in. And then the spicy ones will be right in the middle. And I'll tell you what, I am going to try one of these spicy ones here while we still are going, because I really want to know. So in the house, I made a couple of different things. I made a little bit of a peanut sauce, and just a thinned out sriracha sauce with a little bit of hoisin in it. And I really like that mix. And then I'm going to go ahead and just close that one for now. And then we have the teriyaki sauce there. And I'm actually going to flip that around and put that right here. And there we go. A little bit of teriyaki sauce, and it's nice and hot. And I'm just going to leave this thing like it is and let it run. So, and get a little closer here because I'm not going to take another shot here. So you can see down here that up here we have the teriyaki. Down here we have the oyster garlic, and in the middle we have the hot. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down. And I'm going to grab one of these hots right here. And let me grab a different one that looks like it has a little bit more spice on it. There we go. And so we already tried the teriyaki ones, and they are great. And this is the dry heat one here, so it's a dry rub, a little spicy. Now personally, I like things really spicy, so I could have went with a little bit more of the cayenne pepper, but my wife might actually be able to have one or two of these. It'll be close. And there you go. So our original temperature was 270 for an hour, and then we bumped it up to 315, and it actually went a little bit over. This does have a little bit of thermal runaway when you get the temperature going up. So we were running it at about 325 for 30 minutes. So they turned out perfect, and the skin is great, not rubbery at all, just nice and firm. So thanks for watching. And we'll try to get an article up to go along with this video. If I do, there'll be a link in the description below. There is affiliate links on the bottom, and if you use those, I will get compensated. So thank you. Enjoy.